Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Gaily Titan, and for today I decided to dig out a couple of shorter games but older games from last May, the ISU 152 on Ghost Town initially. I was wondering between that and a Waffenträger Panzer IV game, and I was just looking at the Waffenträger game. I decided not to play it. I thought it was overall, I mean, I got a very good score, but it wasn't a very exciting game. But then Waffenträger games, or tank destroyer games in general, tend to be more on the passive side. But I thought it was kind of funny how I have the patience to play that kind of passive tank destroyer game. And then I go to a tank like the Tiger, and I'm all charge into the enemy. And I just wondered how much of it is the fact that, you know, you learn the hard way you can't really, or you know that you're kind of supposed to play tank destroyers passively and sniper type game, and you know, at least from the reputation, that the Tiger should be a tank that you should be able to charge into the enemy with. But of course, it doesn't work like that. It's not actually that tough. Even against the tanks that it's up against a tier, at the kind of ranges that you're engaged in a World of Tanks, they can put shots through the front of it handily enough. The only thing is that you have a DPM pretty much comparable to theirs and slightly more hit points if you were facing, because historically the tier 7 Tiger was probably facing tier 5 tanks in the Sherman 75mm and Cromwells. Comets. Probably early Cromwell, yeah, mostly Cromwells. I'd say the Comet's even a bit late. Comet starts coming in at 45, I think. It was kind of a stopgap while they were still waiting for it to get Centurion production up and running. I mean, I think Centurion was already in the design stages or prototyping stages, I think, at that point. It's just that they hadn't ironed out all the bugs or figured out how they were going to produce it, manufacture it rather. Anyway, to get back to the game, decided there was nothing for me to do there in the centre, and I just came around the flank to the periphery, and if this guy just stands still, but he doesn't. As soon as I pulled the triggers, almost if he smelt me coming. Well, I was spotted as well, I think. So we wait for the reload, and things are not looking great at that corner. So I go up there to the corner. You see, I was tempted to go to the other corner, the outside corner, and I shoot across the square. But the trouble with that is then, if the light tank came back out along the dunes, I would be very vulnerable. Now, it's kind of hard to know, and sometimes you don't know. You know, if you come here anyway, there's nobody here either. So there's that as well. T95 E2 goes around the corner and gets blown away. So I think, okay, whoever's around here and did that is probably reloading. And there he is. And we finish him off. The light tank is just whizzing around the place. So now we back up, and there's another tank coming around the other side of us, an E50, taking on the Chrysler. And he thinks he's on his own, I think. From the way he came around that side, he was going to do another shot in a ram and stuff like that. So we tracked him in place, and he's dead. However, there's more coming around the back, and I can get this thing turned around in time. There's a Ravioli and a Leopard prototype, and we sit here, wait for the Leopard is going to come out. He puts a round out, but he doesn't damage us, and we're waiting for the reload. Now, this guy actually had the time to shoot me properly, but he didn't. He rushed his shot, and he dunked it into the ground. And I got him when I had the reload, but now I have to survive another round, which I do. However, the light tank is coming around behind me. There's a medium tank coming in front of me, and that Leopard prototype is still there, although he's going the other way. But Udez is turned up. So now we are in trouble. We're probably going to get one shot off. We'd better make it count. T-44 is making another round of movement, and we get rid of him. And now we did. The Eagles got me. But hindsight, I'd probably be better off if I had rushed forward. If I'd rushed forward into the cover of the buildings there on my right, I might have had a better chance of surviving. And I'm cutting short the video because I didn't basically change perspective. There wasn't many enemies left at that point. I knew our team outnumbered them so overwhelmingly that we weren't going to lose the game, and I didn't actually go and follow anybody else's point of view, so there was nothing really to see except my burning Hulk for about 3 minutes as the remainder of our team crushed whatever heavy tanks were left, and then spent about 2 minutes chasing the UDIs, or looking for the UDIs, because they'd forgotten kind of where it was located. So we finished up with a first class mastery. 2,700 damage. And the next game here is on Severogorsk. And Severogorsk is a great map to be a tank destroyer on if you're southern spawn. It's not so good if you're northern spawn. But southern spawn is a great spot for tank destroyers, and it's one of the reasons why the 0 line and the 9 line are so hard to push on Severogorsk, because there is a great spot for tank destroyers. There's really nothing equivalent on the northern edge. There's no spot that is as good, because if you're forward enough to be able to shoot people to come debouching out at the D line, D2, D3, you are generally... The problem is that any retreat, you see up here, if you're spotted, you can fall back behind the hill, and you have a hill covering you, and you generally have a chance to retreat. Quite often you have a chance to retreat north. You can actually get up if you're the faster tank destroyer. You'd retreat up into the northern route and follow the tanks going up north. But if you are in a slow tank, sometimes you can't do that, but you can fall back behind the hill and it'll break the spot. Whereas in the northern edge, the positions there along east of the river are it's all uphill behind you, so you're retreating uphill and you're not gaining any cover. So once you're spotted, you're pretty much dead. That's the problem with it. So you can be okay if your team is holding the line, but if you have to retreat, you have to do so kind of early. Whereas here you can actually leave it to the last minute. Now our first shot did a random critical damage to somebody. I don't think it was the AMX 5100 that I was aiming at, but it was somebody. And then I thought they were going to break through the middle, because sometimes that happens, although we have a fair amount of tanks in the middle. And then I see, well, there's an OHO. An OHO is over here, so I thought, right, an OHO is a big target. Plenty of hit points. We fire at the OHO. We don't hit the OHO. We hit an entirely different tank, which turns out to be the AMX 5100. He repairs his tracks though and decides to pull back, and I don't think I see him again. So we fire again, and we put another round into the OHO. And now there's an M103 down there, and there's a whole bunch of tanks. There's a few more slips down that I didn't spot, because we didn't have many tanks. We've only got a light tank really holding them all up. Get a solid hit into the M103. There's a 110, a P43. There's the 103, and I fire. I was trying to get a tracking shot there. Hit the tracks alright, but it didn't stop him, or it didn't do any real damage. And now the position is pretty much overrun. There's more tanks coming in behind. The P43 is making for the rear zone, and we finish him off, but we're spotted now. We've got to get off the ridgeline. We were fortunate there. Okay, we were tracked by the M103, but we had the ability to repair it. Now the trouble is that tank destroyer out in the open there is probably going to spot me if I run north. Although maybe not. If I'd gone back as far as here and turned, I might have got away with it. Anyway, I made the decision and I ran west. I thought I'd get the bushes between me and the enemy, and I also called for help. And extraordinarily enough, the team responded. It's one of those occasions where I think it's worth highlighting that the outcome of this game was decided by the fact that the team responded to the call for help and actually came back and helped. You can already see tanks turning around, and coming back down, and the enemy are already getting attacked on the flanks. It won't stop some of them from making it into the base area, and I will have some exciting times before the end. So we turn around here and we said, right, we'll flatten down some bushes, try and maximise the amount of foliage. It's not great foliage, but it's the only foliage we've got. And the M103 has come over the top, and I was going for the tracking shot here. As you can see, we put that in, do a fair amount of damage, and he immediately swings the gun over to us. Now he's a one-shot kill for anybody at this point, if they could just hit him. Although somebody manages to hit him and doesn't do the full damage. Don't know what they hit him with. So we just keep going back until we become unspotted or reloaded, whichever happens first. As at this stage, it's just about getting all the shots down range as soon as we can. Now I've switched to HE to finish off the M103 on the basis that if I hit anywhere with HE, it'll do the job. Now the M103 has appeared for view. There's a 110, and sure fucking will shoot the 110, do 400 damage, so it's splash damage only, but it's still a reasonable amount of damage. And we just charge downhill and hope for the best. At this stage though, the game's over and there's just the 110 left. That's the 110 taken out of it, so it's game over. We did 3,446 damage, 67 assisted damage. So the guy that hit the M103 must have been using HE. 67 damage is all he hit him for. Actually no, 4,203. Right, get a high caliber and a first class mastery. Oh, we didn't add up the shot that we got into the OHO that wasn't visible. So that's where the 4,203 comes from. Yes, they don't get incremented over the course of the battle. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.